And welcome back to the channel. My name is Andres, and today it's Mayweather versus the Paul breakdown. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's get into this breakdown. So Mayweather comes out with Paul, and there's a bit of cuts here. So Logan did a lot of feinting, a lot of like lower body shots, and I thought that for what Logan, I'm just gonna pause it for a second. Logan did as much as he could. I didn't expect him to be technically very good in this fight, but the fact that he made it 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather is super impressive, and that he was able to avoid a lot of Floyd's really powerful punches and not gas himself out too much. And he was gassed out in the later rounds, and that's why he clinched so much. But guess what? Don't hate the player, hate the game. You can clinch in boxing. It's an exhibition. The rules are not very clear, so you have to blame the game of boxing, and Logan is allowed to do that. But anyways, so Logan, again, a lot of these shots weren't landing. Floyd still got good reflexes. He still got it, essentially. And again, just Logan's stance here was a bit less of having his guard. His guard was more not like completely down. It was more like kind of like Mayweather in a way. I'm just gonna put this on 0.5 for a minute. So yeah, again, like just showing you here, like he misses there, and Logan doesn't really go into his jabs as much, which I think if he did, he'd have more success, but. He's taking his time. And what I like about what Logan is doing here, what he was doing right here, is he was being very cautious because he was trying to figure out what Mayweather was about. He was trying to feel him out, which is something that I think a lot of people that would fight Floyd wouldn't necessarily do, and that's why, for example, Conor and Jake, I don't think would do as good as Logan, and that's because they'd be very aggressive and on him from the start. But with Floyd, I feel like you need to be conservative and very tactical, and that's what Logan is. And that's why I think he's one of the few YouTubers that could do decent against him and go the full 8 rounds, as was proven in this fight. And yeah. And so they continue going at it. Mayweather Mayweather was just trying to avoid Logan's jabs for the most part. And I think his goal was for Logan to gas himself out. And I was actually surprised that Logan didn't throw as much. And I think he lands a jab to his body. I think Logan does. Oh, I don't think he did. He got close, though. And then, but I liked when he kind of went down low, and he did this when he was sparring with the Gronks. But I feel like that lower, like sliding into jab would work against someone that was a bit more amateur. And then he just goes in for the clinch. And again, the clinch saved Logan a lot here, and it really carried him throughout this fight. But hey, it worked for him, though, And so this was actually, I was happy that Logan actually landed a significant shot here. He lands a nice shot right to Floyd's head. Bang! Sends him going back. And then, obviously, they didn't take it out. Okay, well, you guys know what happened next, with Logan just going crazy and landing all of those punches. And he actually did land, I believe, an uppercut and another shot in that flurry that he did, which got cut out, sadly. But, I was actually scared for Logan because I thought that that would tire him out, and I was like, don't go for that so soon, and it essentially did nothing. Those punches, they didn't hurt Mayweather, they didn't make him like hurt or anything. Like it purely was I know you can't see me. I was stretching my neck; it hurts. But what I was saying was that I think that Logan wasn't smart and just throwing that flurry of punches, and if anything, he should have done that in the final round and just laid it all out and made the fight a little more exciting than it was. So again, Logan just does a lot of feinting, and Floyd just reacts and just goes back and goes back. But you know what? I'm glad that Logan did feinting and he just wasn't gassing himself out, because everyone expected Logan to throw a ton of punches and then gas out. That was probably what Floyd thought, and that's what pretty much everyone who was predicting and watching the fight thought. But Logan managed to keep his stamina the best in any of his fights, and I think the fainting was something I didn't really expect, and I hope he uses that going forward in his fights, because I feel like he didn't do that a lot with KSI. Oh, and so here, Logan's jabs aren't necessarily hitting Floyd. Like, that just, like, hits his gloves. So a lot of the jabs looked like they landed, but they were more just going on Floyd's gloves than his actual body, or head, I should say. So they're continuing to go at it. And what I like about Logan is, like, he's also trying to figure out Mayweather and what he's trying to do. Like this whole sequence of stuff here, like Mayweather's going back, he's trying to roll, he's kind of expecting, and Logan's not doing anything because he knows that to throw anything would be a waste of time. Oh, sorry, but yeah, and so yeah, that was just a jab to the glove. But Mayweather is very elusive, and he proved he still has it. And he's smiling at Logan. So there's some good showmanship, and then. Here, for example, I don't know why I said here, for example. Logan goes for the jab, and Mayweather just goes underneath it, or he avoids it. But the thing is Logan's not trying to exert himself too much in this sequence. Like, he could have really gone for it, but Logan knows that this just isn't going to land, and it's just like, well, let's see and hope what happens. Because again, Logan's not really doing a lot here, but that's the smart thing to do, because if to do everything in the opening rounds is going to be really bad for you, because Floyd comes alive in the later rounds, and once he kind of gets all of the information like a computer, he knows everything you're going to do, and because you're gassed out, you're not going to be able to do necessarily the best that you can do, if that makes sense, although that was stating the obvious, but yeah. So I thought Logan was being really smart here, actually. And not trying to overexert himself and just go for the big punches. This just, like, literally, this punch that Logan throws goes, again, the shoulder of Mayweather. It's incredible. Like, he still has it, and like, that's boxing, man. That's boxing. And I'm just glad that, he still has it. And then, this is a commercial. And going back to round 3. So Logan had his hands down a lot in this fight, and everyone said this is what was going to get him knocked out. This is what's going to be Logan's main problem, and in actuality, it really wasn't a huge issue that Logan had his hands down. Again, I think it's a style choice. It's how he fights. I know a lot of people don't like the way Logan fights, and they say it's worse than Jake, and I guess I could agree with you there, but it gets the job done. It gets him the full 8 rounds or 6 rounds with KSI. And it does have its perks, and it does work at certain points. It's just not very pretty to the eye. And Jake's is a lot more textbook. And again, just Logan, a lot of these jabs just did not connect, and they went to the gloves. Boom, just a glove hit. So this is so again, you can tell when Floyd comes forward, right? Logan just clinches him, and he actually landed a nice shot to the head. And a big difference between Logan's clinching with KSI and with Floyd is with KSI, he wasn't trying to fight him in the clinch, whereas in this fight, he was trying to do that. And, I know people are saying, like, Mayweather was not training hard for this fight, and he did. There were pictures of him online, bloodied and sparring, people saying that he trained harder for this fight than he did for Canelo or McGregor, and you could tell Mayweather was frustrated. Like, people were like, oh, he went 50%, or he wasn't trying, or this was in the contract. You know what, those are excuses, and you can say, Andres, you don't know boxing, this, that, and that. Honestly, at this point, I really don't care. It's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. And again, I'm not saying Floyd was struggling or losing any rounds, because honestly, I wouldn't give any rounds to Logan, but I guess generously, I'd give him the first 2, and then Mayweather rounds 3 to 8. But, yeah. Mayweather was trying to get Logan down, but Logan stopped Floyd's momentum. Like, Logan shouldn't be able to do that. Like, Logan should not be able to stop Floyd Mayweather's momentum. And again, he just goes in for the clinch. but it stops Mayweather from doing what he wants to do. And again, I like that Logan was hitting him when they were in the clinch. I was proud of him. And then they go back into the clinch. And I like that Logan was doing body shots, and Floyd was too here. Although I'm surprised that, I think Floyd, I don't know, I forget what the final punch stats were, but, so this was a really cool moment for Logan. So Floyd comes in, he's going to land a nice shot, and then, whoa, and he misses, and Logan just goes into the clinch. Like, that is quite literally, that, if Logan has his hands semi-raised, and it just misses. And then he goes in. And that's what I'm saying. Logan has very good reflexes and good movement for a big guy and for a YouTuber.